Welcome to Comic Trap News. I'm Dan, and my guest here is Gambit, joining us again this week, year. We're going to go over the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far. So we're going to go through in the order of release, the movies, and talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. So starting out with the beginning of Phase 1, Iron Man. So this was a movie I had no expectations of because it was Iron Man who, let's just say, was not a popular character at the time. You had Robert Downey Jr. coming off of years and years of drug and crime problems. But you have Jon Favreau who, yeah, he was in Daredevil with Ben Affleck. That was something that existed. So you had a lot of what ifs, and if this movie failed, then everything we know is gone, and the start of the Marvel formula began. So, your thoughts on?
Well, I mean, first of all, I like that Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. Like, they're just going to put it out
there.
The
director's cut's way better.
Yes, and I think that you have to take away that dancing scene in the park, and then you would have a great movie. You know, it's not dancing. You know that part where
yes,
they're
the dance foo.
Yeah, the dance foo in the park, because I think that was the only stupid thing of the movie. So let's get that out of the way. With Iron Man, I was excited about it, you know. I wasn't reading Iron Man at the time, but a friend of mine was very familiar with the character. I don't remember who was writing it back then. Doesn't matter.
Fraction had just begun, I believe. Yeah.
And my friend was like, "Man, I'm super excited about this." I was like, "Well, I mean, it's a superhero movie. Let's see what happens, you know." Then the movie came out, and we got what we got, you know.
Yeah, it was fun. You got big names like Jeff Bridges and Gwyneth Paltrow in it.
Yes. I didn't know Jeff Bridges was going to be in the movie until I saw him. It's like, I think I know that guy from somewhere.
Yeah, Terrence Howard, who was coming off, I think, Hustle and Flow, which was a great movie. I think he almost got an Oscar for if he didn't.
Really?
The movie got, well, maybe it was music he got an Oscar. But anyway, like, it was a well-renowned movie, and he got into that, and also, supposedly, him and Downey Jr. hated each other's guts, which led to him being replaced in Iron Man 2.
That's what you get.
Bad feelings all around.
I think one of the things I like about the movie the most is when you see the Mark I, the huge clunky thing that he's walking around. I think what I liked the most was that it made me believe that that something like that could exist, could actually function. It's like, I mean, if you take away that he made it inside a cave, let's not talk about that.
That's totally believable.
It's like that thing would actually be working. It would be a functional human tank, you know?
And also, like, I like that it wasn't perfect right off the bat. Yeah. Like, even later on, because Stain didn't know that at a certain altitude, it froze up when he's like, how'd you solve the freezing problem? He's like, huh? What?
What problem?
Also, like, Robert Downey Jr. is a charm factory in this. And, like, just from the beginning where you're like, he's a scumbag arms dealer kind of.
But you like him.
But, yeah, you want to hang out with him. Like, when they're in the the transport vehicle with the army people, and he's like, no gang signs. That's fine.
That's okay.
There's something about it that you like, and then you get to that after credit scene, and Samuel L. Jackson comes out, and you're like, holy shit, this is really happening.
Yes.
This is real life, and you're like, and they're kind of using the Ultimates Nick Fury, who is based off of Samuel L. Jackson. So it's the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail.
Right.
And you're just like, all right, where do they go from here now? Because now, like, you've opened this whole world now of, like, if this exists, this person's here now. Now what? And which brings us to our next movie, Incredible Hulk. John Lettier, and starring Liv Tyler and Ed Norton, which Ed Norton being in this kind of movie, since he did a lot of, like, art house and, like, real thinker movies. Like, Fight Club had been out by now. Death to Smoochie.
And American History X has been out.
Oh,
That's right, I actually know.
And also one of my favorite movies that most people don't know he was in, which was... oh no! I can't believe it's one of my favorite Ridley Scott movies. Liam Neeson's in it, but he's playing the leper king in it. but he's wearing a mask in it, so you don't know it's him. And it also has Orlando Bloom in it.
What movie is that?
It is an ungodly long movie too. Oh my God, I can't believe Eva Green's in it playing his sister. It's almost a 4-hour movie, especially if you get the director's cut.
All right, so I'm gonna look this up. You're gonna.
So yeah, this was the first of the Marvel movies also that had a very, very troubled production. Well noted troubled production because Ed Norton started rewriting the script as he was working. He did not like the ending and wanted a different ending. And there was high tension on the set, basically.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it became such a problem that even when Avengers was still in its infancy, they were like, there's no way this dude's being anywhere near this movie. We can't do it. We can't work with him. I was actually at the San Diego Comic-Con when they announced Avengers, and someone got up on stage and or during the Q&A goes, dude, Ed Norton, you let him go? Mm-hmm. And Feige was just like, we're not going to talk about that anyway. Here we got Mark Ruffalo. Hey!
Yeah, you have someone else to replace.
Yeah, basically. But every one of those dudes started coming out on stage. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, we're totally missing a movie. So, this movie, oh my God, who is the guy who played the Abomination? Great actor.
Yeah. The dude from Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
We're super bad at this today, apparently.
I'm blanking out. Oh my God.
Is it Roth or something like
yes,
that?
Yes, Tim Roth.
Tim Roth. Thank you. And the other movie was Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven. So you got this you've got this great character actor in this movie now, who Tarantino movies are mostly where I know him from, like Reservoir Dogs, the beginning of Pulp Fiction, with the every one of you motherfuckers.
I remember him from obviously the Tarantino movies, but the Planet of the Apes movie that he did with was it Tim Burton that directed that movie? Yeah. All right, so back to Hulk. I actually was surprised when this movie had nothing to do with the Ang Lee version. I actually liked the Ang Lee version.
The Hulk dogs.
Except for the last part of the movie, where the Hulk is fighting a giant cloud underwater. Yeah. But let's not get there. So I was actually surprised that it had nothing to do with that, and they recasted Norton. The cast, by this time, I was paying a little bit more attention to what was going to happen in this than with Iron Man, and I knew that we're going to be connected somehow. It's like, how are they going to connect it? So we had all that rumors and maybes, and maybe this works going to have. In the future, we're going to see more of it, So I like the transformation. I like that he looked different. Although he was big, he didn't look as big as the one before.
Yeah.
That it got to the point where he was so big that it kind of looked cartoony.
The end of this movie annoyed me to no end, though. Not because of him doing the yoga in his eyes, but they tried to set up all this future stuff, like the leader.
Like the leader that was
and
the leader.
Nothing ever came of it because Universal's like, we're not making movies with them. You can use the character. We're kind of done with spending money on this. So
idiots.
We don't get that, but hold on. We'll get to the Hulk later on because he's coming back. He's coming back in a big way. And
hopefully.
From there, we're going to move on to one of my least liked movies in the entire MCU, and that is Iron Man 2.
Really? You don't like Iron Man 2? Iron Man 2?
There's parts I really love, but if you look at the overall, Whiplash was a weak villain. This I think started the whole Marvel villain problem.
I mean, they've had a villain problem since Iron Man,
I thought that Whiplash was not a great villain, but what I did love...
I was expecting a little bit more, I agree.
We got a little bit of the demon in a bottle, Iron Man drunk. We got this great entry into Black Widow entering the universe.
Yes.
Which, again, I have problems with this movie, but there's things they did so damn right that it makes up for this. And you could say this about a lot of the Marvel movies where you're like, but then something awesome happens, you're like,
all right,
you got me. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer is awesome. He is the Weasley scumbag, you just imagine every corporate CEO is like, and he's, again, another guy who's kind of charming in a weird way because he's so weaselly. Oh, you want your bird? I get you a bird.
To be honest, Sam Rockwell, it's good in everything that he does. It's so weird that he can be so good in everything that he does. I did love his Justin Hammer character a lot. And I like his interaction with Mickey Rourke. You know, those moments when they have to interact with each other is so different, and one is so loose and the other one is so quiet and angry that I think it played really well. By this being the third movie already in the series,
we also get War Machine.
Yes,
Don Cheadle seamlessly switching into
right.
Howard spot.
It's like let's just we don't have Edward Norton anymore. Let's put this other dude, and we don't have this other dude, so let's put the other one. Nobody's gonna notice. You can forget. Honestly, you forget that these other actors played these characters before.
But it's also like the victim of its own success. Where like Iron Man 1, you had no expectations going in. So you walk out going, this is great. Then you have real high expectations for Iron Man 2. You're like, all right, Robert Downey Jr. is still charming. Pacing's a little bit off. But fuck, they got Black Widow in this movie. And it's Scarlett freaking Johansson who, she was it Lost in Translation not too long before that? Like,
I don't remember. I never seen Lost in Translation.
Oh,
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it was her like the movie that every like Oscar person was like tripping over themselves about. Like, what did Bill Murray whisper in her ear? Oh my God! It's a good movie, but it's not one like I'd say rush out. But if you happen to catch it on TV, be like, okay,
all right.
Anyway, enough about that. What was the after credit scene in that one? It was
on Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember. I know that the after credit in Hulk was Tony Stark talking with
Thunderbolt.
With Thunderbolt Ross, which was like, oh, here it is.
I remember. It's Thor's hammer in the desert.
Oh, yes.
So,
yes. And we have Stan Lee driving the truck.
So, okay, that brings us into Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh, Shakespearean actor,
really?
directing. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you like Thor, that first one?
I had the lowest of low expectations because I'm like, all right, we got the dude from the J.J. Abrams Star Trek who was in the movie for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Apparently, he did a great workout and got jacked up real fast. The dude looks like Thor. Like,
he does.
He's one of those guys where I'm like, all right, you're a beautiful dude. I give that to you. But then he does a comedy movie like, you fucking asshole. You can't be both. You can be pretty, but you can't be funny.
But he is funny.
I know, he is.
I think that's what gets you more angry. Like, oh, he's funny too, right? Like, really? With this movie, with Thor, I was a little bit not disappointed. I was entertained by the movie, which is what I wanted from the movie, to be entertained by it. But I thought that this one was the weakest at that point. And I said, because it felt like they played it too safe in that movie, like, I think it's that they've always played it safe, but I think with this one, it's the first one that I noticed that
it was the most outside the box. But they're like, wait, we got Natalie Portman though. And then like, it was more jokey than I thought it would be, which also started all right, Marvel movies are all jokes and humor, like with him getting hit by the car and then tased.
Yeah, I always, the humor in the movies, I think I got that from the first.
The girl Darcy, though, in funny. Controlled amounts, she was great. Tom Hiddleston as Loki was perfect. He was magical. Anthony Hopkins playing Odin.
That's perfect.
It wasn't who I envisioned as Odin, but then when you see him come out and all the gold sparkling stuff, it's like, all right, like, it's a little bit Clash of the Titans here. It's fine. Got the Warriors 3. Right. Sif, like...
Yeah, we got to see them in action a little bit.
A lot of world building, some cool stuff. Again, a little weak in some parts. The Destroyer, the last battle, it was okay. I didn't hate it. It had moments though.
Yeah.
And the Thor. Hawkeye. Hawkeye's introduced. He's like,
Hawkeye's
take your shot. I don't know. I like this guy. Good stuff in it. Again, on my rankings, probably not my highest. Like it's below middle of the pack. but it's not.
It's a little bit lower down.
A little
farther down.
A little bit. There's some worse ones coming though. Spoiler. Again, this is another after credit.
I don't remember the after credit for Thor. And I'm not scheduled to see it, I think, until today or tomorrow. I don't know when I'm supposed to see it.
Was it Captain America at the end?
For Thor?
I don't...
What movie comes after Thor?
Captain America, the First Avenger. Which...
Then I don't remember.
I saw a lot of pictures when this came out.
I just saw that one the other day.
Joe Johnston directed. And... the pictures that came out originally were of Skinny Steve. And you look at it without context, you're like, what in the world is going on? They got the dude from Not Another Teen Movie, and also...
I remember him from Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. So we got the Human Torch, who, if you haven't seen it, I will recommend another movie he was in, comic book related, The Losers. The Losers that came out
yeah. That was a great movie.
Fucking great movie. It's the A-Team movie the way it was supposed to be done, and Idris Elba's in it, so win.
Yeah.
So kind of a schmaltzy movie. It's a period piece, and I'll be damned if Wonder Woman didn't take this formula, do it a little bit better.
Right. So here's the thing with Captain America. I like the movie, but when you watch that, I just saw it like 2 days or 3 days ago. I rewatched it again, and the Steve Rogers, skinny Steve Rogers, freaked me out to no end. I was like, I can't watch this.
It's still jarring.
It was like, wow. Anyways, so with this movie, I liked it, but I felt like in the middle of this movie, there was a really, really cool movie happening, you know? Like, inside of all this is a cool movie inside of it. And that's what I think Wonder Woman is. It's like that cool thing that's in the middle of Captain America where they have like a montage of a lot of things happening. It's like, they say, okay, this is what we're gonna do with Wonder Woman. But let's not talk about Wonder Woman right now.
A lot of people fell in love with Bucky Barnes and the bromance between him and Steve.
I get it.
For me, the magic of the movie was Peggy, where Haley Atwell, like, she's just so saucy and charming, where and like full of fire and spunk. It's hard not to fall in love with her on the screen.
Yeah, that's true.
The Red Skull, Hugo Weaving, he's on record that he thought the movie was stupid and he just did not enjoy his time there, but he also shit all over the Lord of the Rings movies that made his name known.
That's why I was surprised when he was in Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, shame on you.
Was not him.
Are you kidding me?
It was Ross Marquand.
Really?
From Walking Dead, yeah.
But he sounds like him too.
He was able to
I didn't even look it up. I was so sure it was him. I didn't even look it up.
I saw the movie and didn't realize it was Red Skull at the time until everybody's like, hey, in case you missed it. I was just like, oh, who's this dick who seems to know everything about these? So...
Yeah. No, I immediately, as he started talking, he's like, I recognize that voice. And then they showed that it was Red Skull. It's like, oh, so... Yeah, well, shame on me. We didn't even.
And then end credit scene. It's Steve waking up in a hospital. You think it's actually a soundstage that they built to, and they're playing old broadcasts of Brooklyn Dodgers games. And he realizes
that he was at that game.
I was at that game, and the nurse is starting to freak out. So we find out it's a SHIELD base kind of hiding him, and he runs out onto the street, and he's like, "Oh no, what's happened?" The only thing that was missing was if it was Planet of the Apes, he'd be screaming, "You blew it all up! Damn you, dirty Nazis!"
Right?
And then Nick comes out and goes, "Hey,
you've been sleeping."
Yeah, you've been sleeping. You're ready to meet the world. And he's been knocking punching bags across the...
That's later on. That's something.
Because they continue it in
that's another movie. What comes after Captain America? I don't remember.
That would be the Avengers.
Oh, already? We're the Avengers?
Yes. I'll go on my DC rant. Marvel did single movies for every person who was going to be in this movie.
Before they tried to...
Did not run. This was 2012. So it's been 4 years already since Iron Man came out. That this came out.
4 years, 5 movies.
Yes.
Huh.
So, Incredible Hulk came out real fast after Iron Man.
Yeah.
So, why DC had to run, but we're not talking about DC, but just wanted to put this fact out there that they individually introduced these people
Yeah.
and got you into the world before going, hey, by the way, we have the Buffy the Vampire Slayer director and writer, who, by the way, is going to be directing this movie, this billion-dollar movie. And it starts out, you have, what was it, a Project Pegasus or a Shield base? But we were shown the Cosmic Cube, the Tesseract, as they call it, that was from Captain America, and it's the base. Hawkeye's there. And I'm going to quote Kevin Smith here. Loki comes in with the Loki Pokey stick, and which is actually the mind gem, and possesses a bunch of people. And you're like, oh God, this is weird. And then Coulson we meet, I think, well, Coulson's bigger in this, but we met him in Iron Man 2. And it starts in a good world, but I think this is the movie where Loki became like a James Bond villain. Like he was just this over-dramatic scene stealer that just blows you away. And they did the old the heroes clash, become friends to fight the biggest villain. I everything about it I liked. It holds up, which is the most amazing part. That, you know, we're 7 years after, and you can still go, I dug it. I still can watch it and not have any like, oh man, like why?
Like, with Avengers, I mean, I was surprised with the fact that they actually made it this far. You know, it's like, it's happening. It's actually happening. We're going to see these characters in a movie at the same time. It actually was a fun, good movie. You know. I really had fun. I really enjoyed it. It had everything that I wanted to see in this type of movie. You know, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of action. It's what I expecting. And like you said, I feel like DC shouldn't have tried to rush things. You know, by the time DC actually put out their first DC Cinematic Universe movie, Marvel has already put out a few movies and was already like tested. You know. And then they tried to figure out, just let's see what happens, and it didn't work out, sadly.
And the best scene in the whole movie for me was Loki just mouthing off at the Hulk, and the Hulk grabbing him by the face and starting to ragdoll him back and forth and go, puny God.
That is, I think that's the best scene of the whole movie.
Also calling Thor Point Break. There's a lot to like in the movie. Although, you know, alien invasion, and you have Hawkeye and Black Widow, one with arrows and one with guns, and I'm just like, these two don't belong.
The idea of Hawkeye. I've never been a fan of Hawkeye or Green Arrow. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, I started enjoying Green Arrow more when the show Arrow came on. You know, but I've never been a fan of these two characters. I don't know. I don't know why, just never been a fan. And I always thought that Hawkeye being in the movie is like, I don't think that Hawkeye should be in that movie, but they actually made him work, you know? You say that you feel like they don't belong because these two are the most earthly characters, you know, the more close to, because even Tony Stark, it's with all the armor, he's something else already, you know?
I also liked the part where she's like, oh, this will be fun. He's like, define fun. Like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, it'd be like Budapest. He's like, we have real different definitions of fun. Like,
right? I want to see that.
And then that should have been the movie. It should have been not a solo movie for Black Widow, but it should have been the two of them and do
a Hawkeye and Black Widow
like have it
movie?
be a complete spy movie. And I think it would have been fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Black Widow probably deserved her own movie, but that's something we'll get to a little later. Because apparently it's happening now.
Yeah, I mean, they have to make it happen now.
Took 10 years.
Yeah, they have to make it happen now. We have the success of Wonder Woman, then we have the success of Captain Marvel. Of course, they have to make it. We need more female leading characters, you know?
And the mid-credit scene that made a million fanboys come in their pants. Thanos appears.
Finally,
right? And you're just like, wait, whoa. We're going there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I was surprised too. I mean, that was the whole point of the scene, you know, nobody was expecting.
Yeah, and you're just like, Oh my God!
Like, this is happening.
They can't be doing the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh no! Wow.
Like, so this is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it was shocking, and then the very after credit scene was them all eating shawarma, which again, it's the greatest throwback because you're like, wow, they really just filmed them eating.
Yep.
And it's just them kind of hanging out.
Just hanging out. Just hanging out. You know that going back to a Black Widow movie, I think that Atomic Blonde was a great Black Widow movie.
It could have been, and then you had that Red Sparrow movie with Jennifer Lawrence.
That one is another good. I like that movie a lot. I don't know why people hate it.
It could have been better. I think Jennifer Lawrence's brand kind of got hurt because of the X-Men franchise.
Yes, I think that
because she was kind of mailing it in on a couple of those last X-Men movies. She Bruce Willis the shit out of it. So that ends phase 1. So.
Before you continue, we have to. We are 2 minutes away from the cutting. We have to cut and restart.
So phase 1, successful for the most part.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think with Avengers,
we set it up now where it's like, all right, Thanos is here. Where are we going?
Where are we going? Where we going with this? You know, I do think that between the first Avengers and Avengers Infinity War, it kind of like took too long for Thanos to actually finally show up. But
they had to get the effects right.
Right.
And let me say, when they got the effects right, Thanos looks awesome.
Right. So do we have to
cut
it for a minute?
We're gonna take a short little break, and we're gonna cut to phase 2. Welcome back to Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we're going to start right off with a controversial one. Not for me, but for a lot of people, this is down towards the bottom of their list. Iron Man 3, directed by Shane Black, who you might remember wrote Predator and Lethal Weapon. So...
He was the director of that movie?
Wrote it.
Oh, he wrote it, okay.
Yeah, and he was also in Predator. Not for that. So, Tony has developed new armor because he's still developing armor and because he's completely petrified still of what happened from Avengers. It broke him falling through a wormhole. He has nightmares. So he now has armor that he put little implants in his arms that he can command and will just join on to him. We are also real early in the movie introduced to Guy Pearce wearing the weirdest nerd makeup. And, oh boy, I can't remember the name of the scientist from years ago that they meet on Y2K party.
Oh, yeah. Jensen was his name?
The girl.
The girl.
That he hooked up with. The actress was from The Town, which if you haven't seen that movie, Ben Affleck directed the shit out of that movie. Affleck's the bomb, yo. So this one moment on New Year's Eve defines this whole fucking movie where Tony kind of screws over Guy Pearce and he learns a lesson. After that, we kind of jump forward and we now have these terrorist propaganda videos.
Yes.
And it's Ben Kingsley, Gandhi, as the Mandarin.
Ben Kingsley as a Mandarin. Dude, let me tell you, I was so excited when I heard that.
And he's doing these things like, Mr. President, where are you?
I think it was perfect. I think he was perfect.
He was great. Like, the way he talked and the inflection were fantastic. We have Don Cheadle come back as War Machine, but now he's been rebranded as Iron Patriot, which becomes a joke. The little kid comes up, oh, I love Iron Patriot, great name. He goes, no, it's not. Tony's having panic attacks, which kind of sets up this whole movie. We are introduced to something from the Warren Ellis storyline, which was Extremis. Which was these terrorists basically taking this nanotech that would rewrite them and make them superhuman. This movie took a whole different take on it. Kind of the same theory, but people will catch fire and explode if their body doesn't take or they panic, which
slight malfunction.
Getting used, so they kind of get construed as terrorist attacks. Happy Hogan John Favreau comes back, and he's tailing one of the guys who showed up with Guy Pearce, who now is this, like, studly guy hitting on Pepper Potts. Happy thinks there's something wrong with this guy. Tony's kind of checked out because he's having panic attacks. So one of these guys takes the extremis injection and explodes at a shopping mall, something like that.
No,
like
it was a theater. It was the Chinese theater.
So he explodes outside. Happy's hurt, and of course we have a Mandarin taking credit for it, and Tony decides to say, "You know where I live. Come and find me."
Yeah.
Well, they do. Beautiful scene of Tony's house being attacked and falling into the ocean.
Yeah. I've forgotten about that.
Tony gets away, and we meet this little kid. I don't remember his name.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's kind of a little techie. Yeah, he and Tony are connected. Tony's kind of a dick to him. There's some charming moments in that. And it's all a race of Tony getting to the Mandarin, trying to save himself, get his armor back, stop the president from being abducted and killed. And he goes to the Mandarin's compound, where the twist of all twists that made everybody hate this freaking movie, find out Ben Kingsley is a drug addict actor named Trevor. Who he's just been hired as a job.
I'm Trevor.
To be the Mandarin, the face of this organization, while Guy Pearce is actually the leader of it. And he's like, "Oh no, don't shoot me! I'm Trevor. You might see me for Shakespeare in theater." And then he's like, first introduced as Trevor, walking out of the bathroom, spraying, going, "Don't go in there." He's got whores. He's like, "I've got a motorboat they paid for." And he switches character, and it's interesting. It's a real interesting twist. Which even Tony's like, "I'm going to shoot this guy. I swear to God, I'm going to shoot him." There is a cool scene where Tony, with all the different armors, are saving people falling out of the plane, where they're doing
oh, that's right. Yes,
the monkey thing into the ocean.
Yes, that it's wow.
Yeah, it was a well shot scene.
It was.
This also follows in the Shane Black with his witty dialogue and kind of snarky. There's a battle at the end. Blah blah blah. Heroes win. Tony gets a new heart. It was a decent movie. I don't know why people hate it as much as it is of it.
I think that it was that Mandarin twist. I do believe that if they would have kept the Mandarin being a serious character, it would have been. I mean, I would have liked it even more. But I do like that it was just someone that was hired to play him, and he proved that he's a great actor. You know, he's the greatest actor, if you ask me. I like the serious tone of the character, of course, but I also love the stupid version of him. You know, that drug addict that ole, that likes to watch soccer and have beer, because
it also followed the trend of each movie. Robert Downey Jr.'s in that suit less and less.
Yes, I you know, that's one of the things that I like about this movie, was that they show more of Robert Downey Jr. as a person, because we forget that he's still a person. And I remember that someone was ranting on his Facebook at that time, and one of his arguments was like, "Oh, I went to see an Iron Man movie, not a Tony Stark movie." It's like,
same
what? Dude. You know. But I can understand why some people hate that, you know. But yeah. I think that we got that on the first and the second. On this one, we see a different take on his life, which is interesting, you know.
And now we're gonna move on to one of my most hated movies, Thor: The Dark World, which I'll start out now. Natalie Portman made demands that they get a female director. They did hire a female director until she realized Marvel gives directors no control over anything at that time, and that was Patty Jenkins, who later went on to do Wonder Woman. and was then followed up with Alan Taylor coming in, and Natalie Portman was just not really digging what was going on, to the point where she did not want to kiss Chris Hemsworth in the scene, so they actually had his wife come in and body double for those scenes. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like there was some weird stuff going on.
Oh my God, Natalie Portman, really?
Yeah.
So weird. I would pay to kiss Chris Hemsworth. She's getting paid to do it.
So this movie actually started out awesome, where you had the rock creature that Thor's fighting, and he's like, I fought bigger, the Warriors 3 and Sith. Like, started out awesome. I'm like, all right, like,
yes,
totally, this is where I want to be. It had the little bit of jollies in it. Loki's in Asgardian prison. What was the one thing that... Oh my God!
I think this is my least favorite movie.
It is my least favorite.
It has some things, like all these ones that you have like a good one, and then you have a couple ones that are average, and then you have another good one. Like when I mean good, I mean great, because I would give solid an average of an 8 out of 10.
It felt like studio notes.
This one is like a 7.
It felt like studio notes because it was like someone goes, "Man, we really like that girl Darcy from the first one. we need more of her." And it felt like she was so forced into it that the humor where it was organic in the first one felt forced.
This one was a little bit forced. That is true.
And it kind of bugged me. And then Mal Keith, who in the comics I really like, he's a real fucking twisted villain, and then a Curse. Kind of weak, like just dimension BS, and then Loki, like some of that was okay. I didn't think he was at his best in this. The after credits, we got The Collector.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Where when I first heard that Benicio del Toro was in this movie, going to be in the movie, I was like, okay, like this is fascinating. I'm not sure how to feel about this, but okay.
I wasn't expecting it.
No.
And although I was familiar with who the Collector was, I actually wasn't that familiar with the character. So for me, it was something new,
Yeah. I wish I could say more about this movie, but I
there's not much to say about it.
I really despise this movie.
Yeah, there's not much to say about it. It's sad that I think this is the weakest of all of them.
Coming up next is my favorite movie of the whole Marvel universe. You can argue it all day. And the most unique thing was it was directed by guys who had never directed movies before. They directed the Arrested Development TV show, the Russo brothers.
Oh, right.
And Captain America: The Winter Soldier is one of the best movies because, one, it has your superheroes in it, but it's a spy thriller. Like, it is not what you'd expect. And you start out with them assaulting this boat with George St. Pierre, famed kickboxer from UFC, is playing Batroc the Leaper. Which, listen, Batroc the Leaper is a ridiculous villain in general. But then you put him on film.
It worked.
It worked.
It was pretty cool.
He was good. And it just blows my mind. I was like, wow. And then you get into, like, Steve is so by the numbers, and then you have Black Widow doing all this shit kind of under the table because she was told to, so they start having trust issues. And then Frank Grillo playing Rumlow, a.k.a. Crossbones, where, like, they're kind of buddies in the beginning, where he's like, did he just jump out of there without a chute? Yeah, he does that. Haha, yeah. And... Steve talks about trust issues with Nick when he comes back and shows them that big program they're developing that's going to take out threats ahead of time. And he makes a comment about the last person he trusted, he lost his eye. Go see Captain Marvel. It'll solve that problem for you, because that comes back in a big way.
That was perfect.
An unbelievable way.
I don't care what everyone says. That was perfect.
But we're introduced to the Falcon in this movie.
Yes.
Where Anthony Mackie is fantastic, and the fact that he's a vet, he's running this place for vets coming out, support group, and he's running around Washington, and Steve just keeps lapping him repeatedly, just saying, on your left, on your left, on your left.
Swear God, you say on your left one more time.
And they have this great back and forth. Robert Redford is in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a senator who, by the way, is heading Hydra. We also get one of the greatest scenes with Robert Redford going up to somebody and whispering Hail Hydra in their ear. And Gary Shandling is in this as the senator again, and he's part of Hydra. This has some of the best Black Widow stuff. When Winter Soldier shows up, there is a chase scene through an apartment building where they're blowing through walls. And every time he shows up, there's kind of a musical cue that plays. And it's the whole, like...
There's a lot of things happening in this movie.
Yeah, no, there's really no downtime in this movie, really.
No, I think that I love this movie. This one was one that had me in the edge of my seat, like excited about it, like the whole movie. It was like...
And then Steve facing off with Bucky, when he's like, Bucky, he's like, who's Bucky? And then the shield knife fight.
Yeah. Oh no, that like this movie. I think it's in my top 5. I think this is my favorite of the whole.
And thing. Nick dying, the chase with him in the car, the elevator fight with Captain America and all the Hydra agents. Perfect. There's so much that you just. And again, these were comedy directors who've never directed a movie before and did TV, and they come out and do this movie.
Do you know that I didn't know that at the time that this was their first movie.
It's unreal, and Sharon Carter shows up. Yeah, Sharon Carter, the great grandniece.
Yes.
She's in there, and
I forgot about her.
Steve sees an older Peggy, and she has Alzheimer's, and it's heartbreaking, and you see this hurt on his face, and like. He knows his friend is out there. There's just so much going on. Steve has this great back and forth with Black Widow. She's like, you should start dating someone. How about the girl from accounting? He's like, the one with the lip thing? Yeah, I'm not ready for that. Like, just stuff like that. I really just dug. The end when they're trying to take down the communication centers so they don't fire on everything. It's just awesome.
Pretty tense.
And then when Bucky and him are having the fight on the carrier and they fall off, he's like, I'm with you to the end of the line, and it's just it hits you kind of in the bro feels. Yeah. And Bucky drags him out and takes him to the hospital. And then Steve they're playing Marvin Gaye while he's in there and recovering. And, we've already found out at the end, like, Robert Redford gets taken down because Samuel L. Jackson, turns out he's not dead.
Yeah.
Just really great stuff. It's tense. It's dramatic. It's got all the action you could want.
Yeah.
And he gets the file saying all the shit Bucky's been up to and how to find him. And I believe after that we see Baron von Strucker experimenting with the Tesseract power, the gem power, to give Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver their powers.
Yes, I forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah, I could go on for about 2 hours about this movie, and I will not because it's not fair to anybody.
Because we have 10 more movies to go.
And I could actually, this next movie, I could almost put in my top 5 as well, like real easy. Guardians of the Galaxy by James Gunn. James Gunn, who had done Slither before this, and a really dark fucking superhero movie called Super with Ellen Page, and the guy who played Dwight from The Office.
Oh my God, he directed that?
Yes. I recommend watching it because
it's
a more messed up version than Kick-Ass.
That is a weird movie, man.
Things becoming dark. So Guardians of the Galaxy... It's coming out. This is the movie everybody's like, it's going to fail. There's no way you can use these characters and have it work. Like, you see Rocket Raccoon. Every character in this movie is stuff when I collected as a kid and even as an adult. Hi, Wilson. You did make fun of me for talking about buying these books. just so you remember, because you love Guardians of the Galaxy now. It made Rocket Raccoon and Groot a household name. These are throwaway characters from the 70s and 80s that I think people were just high and just cooking up shit and putting it out there.
But at that time, everyone was high, so...
James Gunn turned it into this weird comedy that part Raiders of the Lost Ark in the beginning of the movie. It's a heist movie. There's shout-outs to every kind of... Like, Howard the Duck is in this movie, and Seth Green's doing the voice. It's insane. And then Ronan the Accuser... Yes, played by Lee Pace and voiced, just like he was in Captain Marvel. I will not live that down. We had Nebula, played by Doctor Who's Karen Gillan, which also, I never thought I'd see that character ever in a movie. The Nova Corps, also in this. The Collector again. Like, just insane stuff. Like, you just don't think about... There's a dance-off.
Oh, come on.
The musical cues, like the soundtrack you can listen to
perfect.
From front to back.
Yes, I think the soundtrack was perfect.
Just everything in this movie, it has a little bit of darkness. The sarcasm and snark, especially Rocket Raccoon, like saying, hey, I'm going to need that guy's eye. Well, here it is. I didn't really need it. I just want to see if you were going to do it.
Exactly. I don't need it just to see if you get it for me.
It was well shot. James Gunn, who never did big budget movies before, like ever. The movie he did with Zack Snyder, the Dawn of the Dead remake, might have been his probably biggest budget movie.
Oh, wow.
He wrote it, I believe, while Snyder directed. But he comes out and makes $1 billion movie. Marvel wisely got him signed again for the second one and had him keep writing.
Of course.
And suddenly James Gunn becomes a household name. Also a target for people online, which we'll get to later. Yeah. Fairly, unfairly. So your thoughts
on Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
I mean, I basically I agree with you on every note. I think it was super funny. I was not expecting it to be a good movie. I did not expect it to be that funny. I think the soundtrack was perfect, and at the time I didn't know where it fell in terms of when this happening at what point into this movie. But at the same, but the other thing that I like about it was that it was so removed from everything that we've had so far that it felt fresh. It felt like, okay, so we're taking a break from everyone that we had up until this moment, with characters that nobody cared about, and suddenly these characters are like huge.
Oh, and Yondu. Michael Rooker comes in as Yondu.
Yeah.
And Michael Rooker weirdly does comedy in a funny way where he's so deadpan because he's never had those kind of roles before where he was doing comedy, except for when he was in Mallrats, where he had the stink palm, chocolate-covered pretzel.
You like a chocolate-covered pretzel?
Yeah. So that might have been his more funny moment, where unintentionally funny. And again, like this, all of a sudden now, the whole cosmic universe is now open. We saw the Celestials. Created by Jack Kirby. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
I don't think Stan Lee had a part of that. But anyway, it's just cosmic stuff you never thought you'd see, with characters that so ludicrous that they used, that just, it's insane that they use them. It really is. And now on to a movie that I have real mixed feelings on. Age of Ultron.
All right, so Avengers 1 again.
Best trailer. Best trailer when I Have No Strings, when they were playing that.
Dude, okay, so this movie, if all the way up to that scene where he shows up for the first time and he's all creepy and it's dark and his voice is distorted and he's like, if the movie would have kept that tone, I think that movie would have been amazing. The only things I didn't like about them, I think it was a fun movie. It felt like it was more of the same at this point. But one of the things that I didn't like about this movie is that Ultron had a mouth.
It felt really long.
And No, I'm okay with the length. And the other thing is that his voice, I still feel like his voice should have been distorted, and you shouldn't have been able him to have expression in the mouth. I think it's creepier when you can't read any type of expression on him. You know?
Yeah. Joss Whedon. It's been said that there was a lot of meddling going on during this movie. That by the time it was done, he wanted no part of the Marvel universe anymore. So I don't know if they were rewrites or they were just up his ass constantly. There also was the race of which Quicksilver is going to suck more, the one that was going to be an X-Men or this one. They're both rather annoying.
They are.
There is my favorite scene in this whole movie was Hawkeye having that come to Jesus moment where he's like, I'm out here with a bow and arrow. Yep. Like, you've got powers, but I'm going out there. And also when Quicksilver said something to him, he turns around and is like, I could shoot you right now. No one would ever know. I could do it. I could do it. There were certain scenes like that. We got introduced to Ulysses Claw.
Yes.
The Black Widow Hulk romance, not romance.
I don't mind that. I really don't mind that.
But having seen Thor Ragnarok, where now it makes me laugh every time. Hey, buddy, sun's going down.
Like, not falling for it. Not falling for that again.
So it's one of those things where, like, for me, the movie just felt really long, and by the time you hit the end of it,
you were just tired.
I wanted it to be done, and I will say my theater experience sucked because there were some irresponsible parents who had their toddler running up and down the stairs with shoes that squeaked.
Yeah, so yeah.
And I was basically like Brody from Mallrats, like with the escalator. Somebody get that kid out of here! Get him off the escalator! Yeah, so it came out. It happened. Not the best. Again, sky high expectations. And especially that trailer. And also, we had the Hulkbuster armor.
Ah, yes.
Real awesome. We also had... there was something.
And this is when Hulk gets into the Quinjet and he just flies off. Which, quick thing that I'm going to put here. If you right now that Marvel got the rights for the X-Men and all that, if you introduce the Illuminati into this Marvel Cinematic Universe, this scene where Hulk it's in a Quinjet, you can say that they use that moment. You put a flashback scene of them getting together, how to get rid of the Hulk because they're afraid of the Hulk, and then in this scene when the Hulk is flying away, you put another scene where you see Tony Stark taking advantage of the situation and reprogramming the Quinjet so that it gets away, and he goes like, I took advantage of that moment. That would work, and that would be pretty cool. I would make Tony Stark an asshole, and I'm not mad about that.
Well, even if we get the Illuminati,
but that's me just playing.
We could get Secret Invasion.
Ah, yes,
because they screwed all that up too. Oh boy. And then the last movie from Phase 2, and we got about 3 minutes before it turns off. Ant-Man. Rosé saved the day.
Dude, where did this come from, right? It's like, this movie just like, we're doing an Ant-Man movie with
Michael Douglas in it, Paul Rudd.
And Paul Rudd, of all people.
Trouble Production, Edgar Wright was fired from it, or he left. It's either or, because he wanted a heist movie. And Ant-Man was going to be more, not vigilante, but a not good guy. And he left it, and then Peyton Reed took over. And a lot of people were upset about Edgar Wright leaving because basically he did years of groundwork for this movie. And it ended up being okay. They got Michael Douglas, which was a coup because he hadn't really been doing anything for a while. Evangeline Lilly from Lost came in as Hope Van Dyne. The ant scenes were really good. Villain, again, not the greatest. Had a little bit of the family thing going, which it worked for this movie. Driving around a little Thomas the Tank was really cool, especially the miniaturized stuff. His buddies who are criminals, I know some Latinos were really upset about Michael Peña's character.
Why? Really?
They thought he was kind of a step and fetch it character that they thought was insulting to the culture, where all he did was tell stories And his story is kind of where he'd be like, and then, my cousin's uncle, but let me tell you, Rosé saved the day. So, for me, he worked, and I could listen to him recap the entire Marvel universe.
Dude. I think that was one of the best things of the whole movie.
I thought it was good, and like all his crime buddies were kind of funny because he had TIP.
Yeah.
And then they had the dude Das Malchian playing the Russian guy. Decent sets up for Ant-Man and the Wasp because we find out that the Wasp is actually still alive, still in the Quantumverse. And that's going to take us to Phase 3, and we're going to take a little break because my DSLR cuts off at 30 minutes every time. So hold on 1 second, and we will be right back. All right, and we're back with Phase 3. We're going to start out with the Russos come back for Captain America Civil War. So right away, the trailers, we saw what we couldn't believe was actually happening. Sony allowed Marvel to use Spider-Man. Never thought it was going to happen.
Yes.
And then he pops out, you hear actual kid voice. He does not sound like a 30-year-old like Tobey Maguire. And the thing everybody got upset about, though, he had mechanical eye slits.
I think that was perfect.
Which I loved, especially after you find out that Tony Stark built his suit. Bucky is back. The beginning of it is searching for Bucky and the impetus of how the Civil War starts, where
that's right.
I think one of the most underrated villains, Helmet Zemo? Is Zemo. His family was destroyed in Sokovia. They were killed, and he was a soldier. So he wants to have revenge. He's searching for these codes to hit Bucky's programming, and he sets a bomb off where he knows Bucky's at, where the Black Panther's father, T'Chaka, we meet T'Chaka and T'Challa at this conference. Bomb goes off, T'Chaka's killed, which, I really undersold that. Chadwick Boseman shows up, and he is Black Panther. Black Panther is unreally good in this. Like, in your head, you're like, the Black Panther is going to be this, okay, like, how is this going to work?
Yeah.
And they knocked it out of the park. Holy shit. There is a chase scene through traffic with Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I don't even know if Falcon was in that chase or not. But they're bobbing and weaving through traffic. Black Panther's using his claws to grab onto cars and like slash through the doors.
I didn't remember if Falcon was part of this chase or not.
I don't remember. So you have these extra characters added to it. These accords are happening now where the government's like, you have to register. Cap doesn't believe in it. And then he gets the notice, Peggy Carter's passed. They show the funeral. And you have this connection to this character because they've already been a Peggy Carter TV series as well, where you get a little sad. Sharon's there. They have to leave. And then shit really jumps off, where Zemo has now figured out the codes and kind of working everybody against each other. He basically destroyed the Avengers.
Oh, I think this is one of the best villains we've seen until this point.
And I think when you have beliefs and reasons behind why they're doing it, it makes them a deeper villain.
Yes.
So, what's it? Hawkeye was captured at this point, I think. Oh no. Okay, wait. So, Tony Stark finds out about a kid in Queens running around, and he shows up at Peter's house, and we are introduced to
Peter Parker on May.
Aunt May, who in the comics has always been old and decrepit since the 60s. And then all of a sudden you have a woman who does not age.
Right.
Marissa Tomei still is beautiful. And Tony Stark's hitting on her right in front of Peter. And
can't blame him.
Yeah. It ends up with a little shenanigans, and Tom Holland is kind of like the Peter Parker that you've always wanted. He's kind of dorky.
Yes.
He's geeky. His voice hasn't fully cracked yet. Where, I can only imagine where this kid's beating the shit out of people. Hey, I'm gonna crack jokes. And he makes snappy jokes. Especially there is an airplane fight between the two groups, Tony's, where
the airport.
He's fighting Winter Soldier. He's like, oh my god, that's so awesome. You've got a metal arm.
Metal arm.
And one of my favorite, he webs together Bucky and Falcon. And Falcon's like, I hate you. And there's also another funny scene with them where Cap's in the front seat, or he's outside the car and he makes out with Sharon Carter. And they're both like smiling at him through the window. Can you put your seat back? No. Yeah. Oh God, there's so much stuff in this.
Yeah,
movie.
This movie. I like this movie. I didn't like that Civil War. It was not the Civil War that I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it works in this movie universe.
Yeah,
it works perfectly.
Bucky and Cap and Iron Man have a giant fight in this missile silo where they find all of the other Winter Soldiers that have been murdered. And then Zemo's kind of sitting on a hill at the end,
just waiting for everything to happen.
Yeah, and he's just like, Black Panther's like, you're there's no way you're gonna walk away from this. He's like, I've already succeeded, so
yeah.
And he's pretty much taunting the Black Panther to kill him, and he won't do it because now he's in his head. He said, revenge isn't worth it, and I think that was a great moment because you kind of have T'Challa turn that corner where it was about revenge almost the whole movie. Boy, there's so much in this damn movie.
Yeah.
Like it's packed full. 2.5 hour movie, I think.
I think so.
But it keeps you interested the whole way through. Scarlet Witch and Vision have a couple of moments. They're all on opposite sides. Scarlet Witch is still trying to get over the death of her brother. She might have caused the bomb to go off.
Oh, that's right. I totally. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and Crossbones comes back and his face is completely mangled from the explosion.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
This is probably still in my top 5. Like my top 5's changing constantly.
Civil War.
Yeah, it's damn good.
Yeah, my top 5 has like 6 or 7 movies.
There's 2 that change out constantly. So we move on from there to the improbable movie that I never saw coming, and that would be Doctor Strange. Scott Derrickson, who is a horror director, comes in and does this movie, and Benedict Cumberbatch is playing the titular character. You have the girl from Mean Girls.
Yeah, what's her face? I don't know her name.
Fucking God. We have the Ancient One played by Tilda Swinton, which gender swapped, not Asian, but she's a great actress. Like
she's a great actress. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I really like her. And I really liked her in this movie. I actually did like her.
And the guy from Rogue One, the Hannibal, he's playing.
Oh, this dude, yeah.
Oh God, I can't remember the. I should really read up before I start this shit.
I know his name. He's from the movie something Valhalla. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
I'm just gonna keep going. Rachel McAdams was the other.
Jesus.
Benedict Wong is one of the best characters in this movie. He's kind of unintentionally funny. The guy from Kinky Boots and Serenity is playing Baron Mordo, who is the friend of Strange while he's there learning magic. Yes. It's very interesting. Of course, Doctor Strange was always an asshole that all of a sudden started to find humanity, I guess, or his own humanity. The magic effects in this, and there is one of the most trippy scenes ever where the Ancient One sends him spiraling through dimensions to kind of teach him a lesson about what else is out there. Yeah. And I saw it in IMAX 3D, and boy, oh boy, that's
pretty cool. I feel like with this movie, it feels a lot like Iron Man 1. That's the only thing I don't like about it. You know,
a little bit.
It's like very close to it. Although I did enjoy the movie, I didn't like too much of the effects because it wasn't. I think they could have done better than just playing the kaleidoscope type of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh boy.
I think that we've seen that in the movie Inception before, so it felt like.
I sort of kind of like the end fight with Dormammu.
Oh, that was perfect.
Dormammu, I've come here to bargain with you. And he keeps killing him.
That was perfect. I didn't know that he played the voice of Dormammu too, so
and then,
he was fighting with himself.
And then, like, Baron Mordo, he was so strict about, this is what you meddled with nature. I can't follow this path anymore. So now his friend is against him.
I get it, but I think that, come on, man, you know, there's some things that you sometimes have to look away in order to make this other thing function. Like saving the world.
This next one's gonna hurt me a little bit. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Decent movie. High expectations.
Yeah.
And it got too jokey, where it didn't feel natural. For me, at least.
Okay.
As soon as they introduced gold people, I was like, "Oh my god, Adam Warlock's coming! Holy shit!" They're gonna.
Yeah, I was expecting another Warlock cameo in Infinity War, but nope, didn't happen.
Again, like some of the I thought Drax, they forced his humor too much, but anytime he was on the screen with Mantis, I laughed because she's kind of dopey and he kind of has no humor sense. Like
that for me, that was a surprise in the first one that he was actually good. Like this wrestler, it's actually good at what he's doing right now at this character. You know, playing this character. And the second one, although I do think that they forced some of the jokes a little bit, I still feel like it was very, very close to the first one in terms of quality of movie. You know.
I think maybe because the first one you didn't know what to expect.
Yes.
Kurt Russell, another dude who just ages well, and then you had the younger. They used that technology that de-aged him and
make everyone look younger. I need that.
It was shocking because I was like, "Holy shit! It's Big Trouble in Little China." Yep, Kurt Russell, like even with the hair, and then left with like Brandy. You're damn fine. A lot of the musical drops. He plays Ego, the Living Planet, which I never thought I'd ever see that either.
Right?
Like, there's weird shit that appears in every movie that's just shock you.
I think they do that on purpose. Like let's find the most obscure, weird character we can find right now that we haven't used yet. All right, let's make that character a cool one and put it on the movie.
And then we got Baby Groot running around.
Turns into Teenage Groot.
Yeah, the end fight felt like a Dragon Ball Z episode. It just felt like it was going on forever. The only thing it was missing is, hold on, wait for next episode, and then it's 15 minutes recapping the last episode to go. Drax, the line that still gets me, where he's like, "You're hideous. I would never do anything with a woman like you." Just his comedic timing. I don't know if he has comedic timing, but it just works.
That's why it's funny because he has.
I like the movie. I didn't love it. It had some moments. I know some people cried during the movie when Yondu died, and
of course,
I still laughed my ass off with "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
Yeah, still funny.
And Stallone's in this movie playing Starhawk.
That is true. Oh my god. Wow.
I totally spaced out that Stallone was in this movie.
I forgot that he was in this movie.
You used to be a Ravager, Yondu. Now you're not. You broke the code.
That's really weird.
The only thing was missing was, "I am the law."
Nah, that would have been too much.
I am the law.
I actually haven't seen that movie.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Rob Schneider's in it. It's fucking horrendous.
Oh, I've never seen that movie.
Just watch that one with
the new one with
the Dread. That's the only one you need to ever watch.
That one's actually pretty cool.
Plus, I in love with Olivia Thirlby, who played Judge Anderson. And we move on to Spider-Man Homecoming.
The best Spider-Man movie, I said right now, the best. The Spider-Man 2 was the best Spider-Man movie. But this is the next best Spider-Man movie ever. I think it's perfect. I think this movie was
I have
perfect.
a small gripe.
Why?
Too much Ned. The side character,
yeah,
it was a little bit much. But Michael Keaton, holy shit, he is one of the most developed villains.
Yeah. One of the best villains.
Everything about him was great. The scene where he's taking them to the prom.
Oh my god.
And he figures out who he is, and they have that talk that just gets really scary.
Super tense. Oh my god, yes.
And like at the end when he knows who Spider-Man is, and you know the guy who's the Scorpion. Saying, I hear you know, he's like, if I knew that, I would have killed him. So even then, he showed him respect. Mm-hmm. A little heartbreaking what happens to his daughter, and the family have to leave. More of Aunt May's hot, where they're just gonna hammer that one constantly.
I mean, they have to.
Peter calling Happy constantly. Favreau's in this movie a lot.
Yeah.
There's some good yucks. There's some interesting tech stuff. It's kind of learning great power comes great responsibility. Don't rely on the suit.
I like that they don't give us the origin story of Spider-Man again. We really don't need to see that again. And I like that they actually they do the great power comes great responsibility thing without actually having to say the line.
They never talk about Uncle Ben. Just that something happened. Mm-hmm. The no origin. I'm fine with. I think everybody knows bit by a spider. It's kind of like Batman.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the fucking pearls again. I know it happened. I mean, next to like Santa Claus, that's probably the next story that you know more than anything else. Good movie. The MJ in it, I was kind of not big on, but then you find out she's like a snarky, like Breakfast Club girl.
Yeah.
Ali Sheedy in that sort of. So I dug it.
Work, yeah.
I can't wait for the second movie. I'm real curious how that. Yeah, especially with Mysterio and Jake Gyllenhaal, which I never thought I would ever see. And going on the comedy tip now, Thor Ragnarok, which is the most ridiculous Thor movie in all the greatest ways.
Thank you.
Like basically, the closest thing I can say, if you loved Holy Diver, and then you get the remake later on where they have the knights fighting in the video by oh god, what's that metal band?
Oh, damn it! What is it with names today?
Holy Diver.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah, so you get this video that's even more ridiculous.
Than
so
the original one.
Thor, you start out with this monologue, and he's hanging upside down, talking to a skeleton. There's Surtur.
Yes.
It's unreal. Like it's just Taika Waititi went comedy but kept serious. But again, fucking this guy is funny, and it sucks that he's beautiful and funny. Like
yeah. I think it was the best. I think he was the best thing on that Ghostbusters movie.
And then they shaved his head. And then he goes back to Asgard. Loki's been impersonating Odin. And there is a play happening reenacting Loki dying.
On Dark World.
And Matt Damon is in it playing Loki. And Chris Hemsworth's brother is playing him.
Oh! I didn't notice
that. I didn't notice until I read something. I was like, oh no. But Matt Damon's playing Loki.
Yeah, I knew that it was my Damon.
And the guy from Dread, Carl Urban, is playing Scourge the Executioner.
Oh, right, Carl Urban, yes, that's him.
And they played him as kind of a buffoon. He's like, I love these automatic weapons. Like, Asgard's great. Kate Blanchett is
stupid sexy in this movie.
Hella?
Yes.
She's...
I don't know why she's so sexy in this movie. She shouldn't be. I mean, that shouldn't be real.
She's so freaking overpowered. And then you have the Hulk, who has not turned back into Banner in years after going through the devil's anus.
Oh, wow.
that was the wormhole he passed through. Hulk has kind of gotten a little bit smarter. Still a little dopey.
Yeah. I like their banter back and forth. You know, you having the scenes with Thor and Hulk, and then having the scenes with Thor and Banner. You know, being so different to each other.
And then Valkyrie's back. Valkyrie, we introduced to her, and you find out that Hela's forces destroyed the Valkyries, causing a lot of issues with her. She's kind of a drunk. Jeff Goldblum, holy shit. He is the
Jeff.
Is he Grandmaster? Yes.
Yeah, Grandmaster.
Yeah. He also has funky hair, and he's got this weird delivery when he talks. He runs in a gladiator arena. We see a Beta Ray Bill statue out on one of the sides of the building.
I love all the Kirby, the Kirby style in the background of the movie. The whole movie has this Kirby feel to it.
Loki manages to get himself in with the Grandmaster, and there's where the Hulk and Thor are fighting. The Hulk grabs him by the face and starts especially, that's what you get. That's what you get. And
that was perfect.
It just kind of made me laugh. And then Thor's cellmates. We're introduced Taika Waititi playing Korg. Yeah, man.
No, completely unexpected. I think it was perfect. I love that movie.
I think he's dead.
I love Thor Ragnarok. I can't say anything bad about it. I love that movie.
It's a fun movie all the way through. I know some people said it's the jokiest, and it is. Even when Thor and Hulk are fighting, he's like, Hulk, raging inferno, you smoldering fire. And him walking over going, it's all right, big guy. Sun's going down. He keeps doing it, and then he finds the Quinjet he went through, and he goes, turn on, and he's like, need password. He goes, Point Break.
You know, that scene where he transformed back into Banner, I think it's the best scene in the whole movie. That moment where you see him fighting himself, basically. He does to turn into Banner. I think that whole moment there, that is the most serious of the whole movie, but I think it worked perfectly right where it happened, you know?
Definitely. So moving on to that, Black Panther. It only won Oscar or two.
Yeah.
Not for movie, but
hey, it works, man.
Beautifully shot movie. Holy Ryan Coogler, which I loved Creed, it's a great movie. If you're a Rocky fan, you haven't seen it, shame on you, go see it. We're introduced to this whole world. Like, they kind of put you in the world without really world building. It's just awesome. Winston Duke is the Man-Ape and Baku.
Baku.
Favorite character. He just
great. This one, I think, this one is in my top 5, and it's fighting with Winter Soldier for best movie, in my opinion. You know?
Again, the world, Okoye, who's Walking Dead's Michonne in it, is a badass. Shuri is...
That's where I know her from.
Shuri is just the fun little sister who's also a freaking genius that could rival pretty much anyone. Lupita Nyong'o is the love interest. Ulysses Claw, played by Smeagol, aka Gollum.
Yeah.
King
Kong.
Great character. Oh yeah, it's King Kong too. And Michael B. Jordan is Killmonger. As a villain, his reasoning, pretty damn good. The abandoned kid who saw his dad get killed by his uncle.
Yeah, that's
everything about it, and it's weird because in the beginning, when he's talking about the dream, the cat god, I thought it was T'Challa talking. Turns out it was Michael B. Jordan the whole time. Interesting, like, there's cool chase with them. Great hairstyle for Michael B. Jordan, bringing back that fade from the 90s.
Right. I think it was a very colorful movie, and it shows you... the
land battle.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was perfect. That was perfect. everything about it, everything about it. How how colorful it was, how it was shot, having, and I'm gonna say it, having no just one white actor in the movie, and making this movie, this whole cast being African American,
and also
African.
James Earl Jones, was it James Earl Jones?
Jones.
I thought he did the voice of the father at least.
I'm not sure.
Maybe not. Definitely Angela Bassett is his mother.
Yes, she's great. That was perfect. This whole thing.
Yeah, it was an all-star cast of African American actors and actresses, and culturally, it was a milestone. It was. Now, I said before, I didn't think it deserved to be nominated for Best Movie. It's not the kind of movie I think.
Yeah. I agree.
But I'm not going to take anything away from what the movie meant to cultural reasons, the casting, and making sure that
everything was represented right.
Yeah, and also like this African land that's also hidden. And in the after credit scene we see that Bucky's there with no arm.
Yeah, Bucky.
They thawed his ass out. They call him the White Wolf.
The White Wolf.
But it was just phenomenally shot. A lot of action. Really, I don't remember many down scenes. Like really slow.
No, I don't think this movie. The pacing on this movie was actually very good.
Very good.
Surprisingly good.
Very
honestly.
good banter between T'Challa and Shuri too.
Yes.
And she's like, "What are those?" I call them sneakers.
Yeah.
They sneak. Yeah. Just really, really good stuff. The weird thing is they kind of made lighthearted that basically Michael B. Jordan was trying to create Helter Skelter, like on the global scale. Because I was like, wait, he just said they want to kill. I was like, yeah, but he's so charming.
Yeah,
because that's how I see our friend Sid sitting there going, he's so gorgeous though. I'm fine. I'm white. I'll let him kill me. I love you, Sid. I'm sorry, but I know you'll if you watch this.
Right? Yeah. She does. Hi, Sid.
Okay, moving on from that.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, right?
No.
Oh shit! Wait, it's Infinity War.
Yes, and I'm going to hit the button on this just so I know we have enough time to really dive into this. We'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so next we've got the Russo brothers back again, Avengers Infinity War.
This is the third movie, right?
This is the third. No, it's fourth.
Their first movie?
Fourth Avengers movie.
Oh, wow.
I think. Civil War is Captain America.
Captain America is
never mind. It basically was an Avengers movie.
It is an Avengers movie.
So, Jesus Christ. Boy, there's a lot going on in this movie, like right from the start. Thanos, we finally get to see him in action. He's found the refugee ship with Loki, Thor, and all the other Asgardians. The Black Order comes on and pretty much kill everybody. So Thor decides it's time to throw down. Gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And the Hulk... Well, Loki does we've got a Hulk. Pulling that back. I always want to hear them say Avengers Assemble, and they never do it in these damn movies.
Right, why?
I don't know.
Is there like a rule against
So the Hulk starts to beat on Thanos, and you start getting the measure of Thanos because he's like... And I will say this, after seeing Justice League and the horrible Steppenwolf, Thanos, for being mostly CG, flawless. This is what... If they were waiting for the technology, they got it right. Perfect. Thanos proceeds to beat the living shit out of Hulk and shame him. We're to the point where he has performance anxiety after that. He can't turn back. And as Idris Elba's character is dying, he manages to send Hulk back to Earth as Banner, and he crashes into the Sanctum Sanctorum, and he's almost naked. They're talking about getting fish tacos or something like that. Wong and Doctor Strange. There's some weird banter in this movie where it's kind of goofy. Captain America and the group are still on the run. Vision and Scarlet Witch are kind of shacking up. The Black Order starts coming down because Vision has the Mind Gem still in him. And Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight come after him. And they're basically beating the shit out of Vision.
Yeah,
like, pretty
they
much
did.
And then
if it wasn't because
Proxima Midnight or Corvus Glaive throws the staff, the blade at them, and this guy in the shadows catches it.
Because of course he's gonna catch it.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And he's got his new look. He's got the beard.
The beard look, yeah.
Black
Dark
Widow's
uniform.
in there. Now she's got these stun batons. Pretty good fight. They all pretty much almost win. Scarlet Witch, you kind of start getting a measure of how powerful she is because I don't think you really got a good idea of it before until this one where she's further along with her powers, where she kind of was handling people left and right.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even a point in Wakanda when they're fighting, when Okoye's going, "Why the hell was she up there?"
That is true. Why was she up there? No need for that.
Yeah, Thor meets up with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was perfect. I think those scenes with them together.
Drax is like, he's like an angel sent from heaven.
Yeah, I noticed that everyone had the same reaction. They saw. I mean, if you see him in the table like that, you probably be. I know. I probably be like, yeah, he's fucking beautiful, man.
And then like Star-Lord's getting kind of jealous. He's like, and then even Rocket's like, yeah, you're kind of okay, but that's a god. And Thor's missing his eye, and he wakes up finally, and more of the witty stuff. So Rocket leaves with him, and I think Groot went with them?
Yes, Groot, Rocket, and Thor.
They go to make a new hammer, and Peter Dinklage, not playing a gnome, is playing a giant dwarf. Which a dwarf and a giant being the same. Well, anyway.
But it is a giant dwarf.
Turns out he had built the Infinity Gauntlet for Thanos, and Thanos slaughtered all of his friends and what made him watch. So they're going to make a new hammer that's actually got a axe, Stormbreaker. Yeah. So it's hammer on one side, more powerful, and they have to open up a dwarf star that's going to melt the metal and everything.
Yes.
Interesting stuff. Rocket in this. What was that portal they went to? Oh wait, no, that was in the other movie.
That was in the other movie. Yeah. That was in
Yeah. So some of the Guardians the other Guardians go with Gamora to try and kill Thanos because she knows where the Soul Gem is.
They go to see the Collector. They go nowhere.
Thanos has the reality gem already and has distorted reality to make them think that they killed him.
Yes.
And she's begging Peter to kill her, and Thanos changes reality, so he's firing bubbles.
I think that scene there. I mean, I get it, but it was too long. You know, like by the time he actually she convinced him to pull the trigger. I mean, it was obvious that Thanos was gonna do something to prevent that from happening, because like at that point he's just there waiting. Like, are you guys done talking? That was the only thing that I complained about that scene. You know, like,
and Thanos in this, like in the comic, he's trying to get Death as his lover, trying to do this great thing to make her love him. In this, he's doing it because he thinks what he's doing is right. That by killing half the population in the universe, he's going to be able to save the universe from itself.
Yeah.
That things will be better. So he's a believer in his crazed bullshit. And the Soul Gem part, where, as we said earlier, the Red Skull's there as their guide, and he says, well, to get the gem, you're going to have to kill something you love. And Gamora starts laughing at him, like, you love nothing, you know... And then
I wasn't expecting
he
that
pushes her in, and you see just a little tear roll.
Just one tear.
And again, like, Josh Brolin acts the shit out of this CGI because he's very convincing. There's something about the way he carries himself, the voice, and his belief that everything he's doing is right. some of the Guardians, the rest of the Guardians end up on Titan and readying themselves for the throwdown with Thanos. They find, was Nebula there with them, or she meets them there?
She arrives later. They and in the meantime we have Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Peter.
My name's Doctor Strange.
Oh, we didn't know we were using made up names. Best line of the whole movie. That's there, right there. That's the best thing of the whole movie, right there.
That Star-Lord ends up fucking them because Thanos just gets under his skin enough that he tells him he killed Gamora. And
oh my god!
They almost have the glove off.
Yes,
and
but
he ruins it.
Okay, so here's the thing with this movie and how it ends and the things that happen right after Strange has his thing that he sees 14 million different ways,
and they win one.
Only one works. So in my head, and this is in my head, I feel like things are happening the way they needed to happen in order to win.
Because when he was going away, he goes, "We're in the Endgame now." When he's fading away,
yes. So it's. I feel like it's.
That's
like,
why he handed over the gem.
Yes, because he needed that. That was the only way that it could work, was to actually give him the gem and go through all these things so that they can win.
But
that they could win.
What happens on Titan is nothing compared to the battle in Wakanda when the Black Order and the Chitauri all invade.
Oh yeah,
it is one of the biggest land battles you'll ever see, and Thor finally shows up, and good God, he's like overpowered, and then he's like, "Oh, Steve, I like the beard." It's like, "Yeah, I like the haircut." So they're having their little back and forth, and like just Thor's wrecking shop. You have all the rhinoceroses and stuff that the Wakandans are using. Black Panther's cutting through them. Banner's in the Hulkbuster armor, which is hysterical, and he's like tripping and falling over. Bucky's there. Black Widow. It's just everybody is thrown down. The Black Order finally get taken down. Then Thanos finally decides to show up, and shit gets real.
Yeah, that's when. Yeah, I mean, it's always like you want to do something right, you do it yourself, you know.
Yeah, and Thor, he wants revenge. He comes in, hits him with the hammer right in the heart.
Should have aimed for the head.
And Thanos just like, bam.
Oh man.
Scarlet Witch destroyed the one gem, but he had the time gem, and he wound time back, and then just smacked her around. And when the snap happens and you see his glove just melted, it's destroyed.
Yes, that's what gets me about that scene, because obviously if you read the Infinity Gauntlet, you know that the gauntlet doesn't gets destroyed by using it, but in this one it obviously gets destroyed. Which I thought was great. It was a one-shot use. Yes, but he still was able to teleport away, and then you start seeing the after effects where. I complained when we saw the movie. Why did Peter get so much damn time? Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good. I like that scene.
It just seemed long. Where like when Bucky disappeared and Black Panther, there was people. I didn't expect Black Panther to be one of the ones who got dusted. Yeah. Because he's like, we have much to do.
You know who I expected to disappear. So when going into this movie, I thought that they were gonna get rid of all the old actors that have been there since the beginning, like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and all these old the characters that their contracts are expired. That those are the ones that were gonna go out, and then the new ones are gonna save the day, and then you reboot everything. Because now with the Infinity Gauntlet, you can remake everything, and you could recast these people and have fresh actors.
And in my head, the most heartfelt scene was Steve falling to his knees and going, "Oh God, oh God," and it was just like, what else would you say? It would be like, you just watched your best friend
just disappear.
And all across the globe, this thing's happening, and it's just like, oh Jesus, oh God, like,
yes.
And it was like the most real thing I could think of what would happen to you if you saw that happening.
There's nothing else to say.
Yeah,
like, why could you say something like that? You know,
and it's insane that it just ends like, and then they pan to where Thanos is, where he hung his suit up like a scarecrow, and he's just sitting on the stairs of like a porch,
just looking at the sunset.
And it's like, job's done. Like I did what I had to do, and I'm done. And again, that's also what I think makes him a great villain. Was he had this one job, he did it, he believed in it wholeheartedly to a point where he made a crusade across the universe, wiping out populations. And now you have just this bleak ending, and it's like, well, where the fuck do you go from here? Like, really?
You just retire, you just sit down and become a farmer.
Yeah, just American Gothic, him with a pitchfork, death behind him. And then we start getting to the weird stuff now, because now Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out, which is taking place before Infinity War. And this, a lot more action, and I kind of like that Scott was kind of in the background, and it seemed like Wasp-centric. She had a lot of the better scenes, and especially the fighting with her. She's the better fighter. He kind of took the back seat. Ghost as a villain,
I think that was pretty cool.
Okay, like
I think that was a pretty cool character.
I like the character. It was just near the end I got a little about, and then was Lawrence Fishburne as Bill Foster, which they start going, how big did you grow? There was cool scenes around San Francisco where they're using the truck as the scooter. The ongoing joke with Michael Pena with, is that truth serum?
The truth serum.
Truth serum doesn't exist. I think that's truth serum, Bob.
Yeah, everything about it described. It says that it's a truth serum. It said that he doesn't want to call it that.
I very much wanted Michael Pena to start the movie doing, so now Ant-Man, he did this, and he kind of did that a little bit with, and then his daughter got taken, and we had to go. I needed more of his storytelling, because just
It would have been funny, but it would have been more of the same. I think that's why they stayed away from it on this one, because it would be like, okay, now you're just giving me that old joke. Don't get me wrong, I want to see that, I want to see that.
Evangeline Lilly,
but I understand why
they gave her so much more to do in this one, and they also made it that she's way more comfortable with the powers and how to use them than Scott is.
It's something that she's always wanted to be part of and wanted to do.
When he's like, we gave her wings? Yeah, and a blaster. Oh, what the hell, man?
Was it not available? No, it was available.
And then
it's like
Scott's under house arrest still because of what happened in Civil War. You have Jimmy Woo from S.H.I.E.L.D., who's kind of a fanboy, too. He's like, hey, what's going on? And then there was a giant ant with the ankle bracelet that he put on it to keep him there. Interesting movie. It wasn't bad. I was completely entertained with it. Not the greatest.
No.
Both Ant-Man movies were kind of the same for me. They were good, not fantastic. The dusting happens at the end after they get
by the time it happens, we forget that it happened at some point, So when it happens, it actually hits. She's like, oh no.
Was it Sharon Stone playing the wife? I think it might have been Sharon Stone playing the mother.
Let me see. I forgot the name of that actress. She's the one that isn't she the one from Scarface?
Oh no! Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes. It's Sharon Stone. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's why it's like, no, I don't think it's her, but yeah.
Again, like we're doing this without any script or
this is
just sitting
unscripted.
down doing it.
We actually haven't watched this. I haven't watched most of these movies in almost a year, except the most recent ones, of course. But yeah, so we're unscripted.
And when it ends, Scott, in the after credit, he's stuck in the quantum verse because everybody got dusted who was supposed to get him out.
Yes.
So how he gets out, we've seen him in the trailer going into his house and then seeing everybody at the Avengers place. So stay tuned. And then our most recent Captain Marvel, which we did about a half hour on a couple of weeks ago. You can watch that. Again, liked it. Had a couple of issues with it, but it was a good intro because you had to introduce this character before Endgame, and maybe I had to rush it a little bit.
Yeah.
But there are parts, and I actually saw someone on one of my timelines talking about how the movie meant a lot to her because her young daughter is someone who, constantly falls down and gets back up. And there's that scene where she keeps getting pushed down, falling down, and getting back up. So I was like, okay, I understand why that scene would mean something to somebody. And it was a little bit touching, I'm not going to lie. And again, Nick Fury's eye. Watch it. You'll understand.
It was perfect.
Long live Goose. So we've just done almost 2 hours on this.
Wow.
And so what's a character that they haven't had in the universe yet that you'd like to see?
Oh, man, that's... wow. I don't know how to answer that question. Because... Okay, so here's the thing with me and Marvel. I've always been an X-Men fan more than Avengers or any of the other characters. So I'm more familiar with all the X-Men stuff. And
even cosmic-wise, like what is a weird character that you never expect to get that...
Eternity or the Living Tribunal?
That would be awesome.
I think those are two characters. I think Eternity would be a great character to put in one of these movies.
I have one in the tip top.
But those characters are so huge. I mean, they are cosmic beings. They're so big that it's not easy to put one of these characters there and make it work. How they managed to make work with Ego to make Ego the Living Planet work. It surprised me because I never thought I was gonna see that ever. It's one of those things where you say, that's a cool concept. It's only going to work in a comic book. We would never see something like that in a movie, but yeah.
Proper Galactus.
A proper Galactus. Oh yeah, I mean, if now if we're gonna talk about everything right now, yeah, I would love to see some of the X-Men done the correct way, and I would love to see a Galactus. Yeah.
Gun to my head. First two names off my. One is the lamest character that if he ever made it, I would shit myself because I would go laugh at Wilson for making fun of me for buying those books. Quasar.
Huh.
Fits in the cosmic universe.
Yeah.
Submariner. I would love to see, especially if they tied into the World War II stuff.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
One of my favorite comic book series ever that fits into no part of this universe, Squadron Supreme.
Oh, I haven't read Squadron Supreme, so I can't.
Like that to me would be one of them, and we're both comic book people. What's the most recent book you've read that you've really liked that you'd recommend?
Oh, Mr. Miracle by Tom King. That is because the other things that I'm reading right now are still ongoing, so I haven't seen the resolution to some of the books that I'm reading. But something that I've read that from start to end, that it's very good from the beginning to the end, I would have to say that Mr. Miracle.
Since I have people that think I'm a Tom King hater from some of my videos, the Vision series by Tom King.
Oh, the Vision series, yeah,
great series, especially if you're into the Avengers. Outside of that, Dive from Image, I absolutely adore. As I mentioned earlier, Squadron Supreme. It is basically, they're derivative of the Justice League, basically, except they basically have like a Watchmen type book where they take over their world and create this program to stop violence and crime and end up becoming dictators. Love that series. What's another? Oh. Another one from Marvel, Immortal Hulk. They brought back the Hulk after they killed him during Civil War II, which was a stupid series. Turns out every gamma-radiated creature is immortal.
Oh, really?
And
I haven't read anything about it.
So the Hulk comes back at night now. Like, he'll rise he comes out. But, like, they had first issue, Bruce gets shot in the head. And when it's time at night for the Hulk rises from the dead and brings him back. And it's a horror comic now. But Doc Samson came back from the dead. Rick Jones is back from the dead.
Right. It's a horror comic now, you said?
Yeah, it's basically a horror comic. And a personality that they've referenced before in the Hulk, the Devil Hulk, has taken over. And it's the one that Bruce has been trying to keep locked away all these years.
Okay, so you're telling me that now I'm going to have to go and get that first trade?
Get the first trade.
And read it?
It's incredible. Like, it's one of the few books by Marvel that I dig, and the new Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky with Marco Cicchetto art is freaking fantastic.
Really? No, right.
It went street level again. Besson's Brubaker.
Yeah.
Besson's Brubaker.
All right.
Which also Gotham Central, Brubaker and Rucka, great series. So with that being said, I'm also going to say if you love the Marvel Universe, especially the movies, go out and buy some of the comics, buy the older comics. Some of these characters you love, their creators don't get a dime out of this. It's been built on their backs. Some are credited, some aren't. Stan got to have his time in the sun. Kirby, Ditko, some of these other guys did not. So at least show them a little bit of love. Especially with Infinity, its whole Infinity Saga. Go pick up Infinity Gauntlet. George Perez is the sweetest human walking this earth. Very kind with his time. Buy it. He's not doing so well health-wise, so I'm sure he would appreciate anybody picking up his work. And Jim Starlin, also the architect of the whole cosmic universe almost.
Right.
So the stuff you love, just go and at least show some love to those creators, because some of them don't get anything, and everything is owed to them. It really is. Everything we love, someone created something. Well, now that was a downer. I'd like to thank everybody for spending all this time with us. Watch, subscribe, comment. Gambit, where can they find you?
GambitSync.com. On Facebook, it's GambitSync. Instagram, it's GambitSync. It's easy to find. I try to constantly update my webpage with new with a weekly comic and new content, art, stuff like this, you know. So yeah, GambitSync.com.
And all of my info will be on the end card with my Instagram and Twitter and all that BS. I'll be editing this for the next 19 years. But again, thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for joining me on this. Always appreciated.
Man. Love it.
And to all our friends out there who aren't around, we miss you, and catch you around. All right, take care, guys.